Hello everyone, it's Annie, and today I am bringing you my April TBR video. So if you have not heard yet, I am co-hosting a new readathon called Linguathon in April with Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages. If you have not seen the announcement video yet, I'll link it down below and up here in the cards. So please definitely join us for this. It's going to be so much fun. And this is mostly what my April TBR is going to be. So first, let's dive into this. So I am on Team Linguist, and the first prompt for that is to read a book about language. So I originally wanted to read 32 Words for a Field, which is about the Irish language. However, it's like impossible to find. I cannot find it anywhere, even like buying a physical copy online. It's all sold out. So I was really upset about that, but I chose another book that has been on my TBR for literal years, and that is Born to Kvetch, and it is about the Yiddish language. So it says that it is a fun and funny yet serious look at how the Yiddish language, which is the language of Jewish people for over 1,000 years, has kind of transformed English and also given the Jewish people the right mindset to survive so much persecution and hatred from other people. And I just think it's going to be a really, really interesting read. I recently read a middle grade book about a girl who was Jewish growing up in Ukraine, and she faced a lot of persecution. This was during the Soviet Union times. That book is Blackbird Girls, by the way. I highly recommend that. But I am just interested in learning more about Jewish history in general, so highly looking forward to this book. The next prompt is to read a novel in verse, and that will be most likely Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo. Yeah, I have not read this yet. I know. That's why I'll probably pick this. I'm sure everyone knows what it's about by now, but just in case you don't, very short synopsis. It's about two girls, one living in America and one living in the Dominican Republic, and they both share a father, although they never knew that until their father dies in a plane crash. And it's supposed to be absolutely beautiful, and it gets rave reviews all around. I cannot wait to read this. It will be my first Elizabeth Acevedo book, and of course I'm excited to read my first novel in verse as well. And the next prompt for Team Linguist is to read a sci-fi fantasy in translation. And I will be picking Yoko Ogawa's The Memory Police. This is a dystopian sci-fi book translated from Japanese, and it will be my first Yoko Ogawa book, so that's exciting. And that will also fulfill one of the bonus prompts for the Reading Women Challenge, which is to read a book by Yoko Ogawa. So that's exciting too. I get to kill two birds with one stone. So the synopsis of this book, I actually didn't know until quite recently. It is that it's kind of an dystopian, Orwellian-esque future where people are under surveillance from, the big guys, the government, and around this island, things keep disappearing. But the government wants these things, once lost, to remain forgotten, and they kind of go after people who remember. Sounds scary, honestly. Sounds quite terrifying. I have heard really great things. I mean, it's won a bunch of prizes. Yoko Ogawa is, of course, a very respected author, and I am very, very excited to finally be reading something from her. So, for one of the bonus prompts for Linguathon, which is read a book translated from a European language, I will be choosing Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead, which, let's just take a moment to appreciate this title. It's metal. It's awesome. This is a great, great title. One of the best I've seen in a long time. And this is translated from Polish? I really hope so. I know she's from Eastern Europe. It's set in Poland, so I'm assuming it was translated from Polish. I am so sorry. I should have checked before I started filming this. But because it's from Eastern Europe, it also fulfills a reading women's prompt, and it's a thriller, so that's exciting. The premise is that there's this kind of recluse woman named Janina in Poland, and she lives alone, and she prefers animals over people. However, that changes when one of her neighbors is found killed. So she decides to kind of take on this investigation herself, but no one really cares about her, so we'll see. We'll see if people listen to her and listen to her solution while she tries to figure out this mystery. I am really excited for this. People have given this really, really good reviews, so I'm really happy to pick this for this prompt. And the next prompt is to read a YA in translation. So I thought this would be difficult, but it actually wasn't. I chose The Beast Player by Nahoko Uehashi. I don't know what this is about, really. I know it's a fantasy. It's obviously translated from Japanese. It's very, very popular. Actually, some of my students mentioned that this is one of their favorite book series, so that's cute. And I'm excited to read it. The only thing the synopsis is telling me is that it is an epic YA fantasy about a girl with a special power to communicate with magical beasts and the warring kingdom only she can save. So we'll see. We'll see how it is. I've never read a fantasy translated from Japanese before. Usually the Japanese books that I read are either contemporary or like that weird magical realism stuff that most translated Japanese fiction tends to be, which I enjoy, but I'm really excited to kind of dive into something completely different, a YA epic fantasy, and this cover is gorgeous. So this is what I'm picking for this. And the last bonus prompt for Linguathon is to read a book featuring a dialect. I had a little bit of trouble, gotta be honest. I was on the fence about what to read for this, but I decided I'm going to read The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. Yeah, I haven't read this. I'm like the only person left in the world that has not read this book, but I picked it because while I was searching, I found it on many lists of books that have AAVE as a big part of the writing, so I decided to finally read it. I don't know, I've just never gotten around to it, so I'm really glad that I'll be able to remedy that. And the last book for Linguathon is our group book, which is Babel 17 by Samuel R. Delaney. Yay! This has been on my TBR for so long. It is such a sci-fi classic. It was the winner of the Nebula Award when it was published in the 60s, I believe. So it's a bit old. We'll see how that works. But it's really exciting because the main character sounds so cool. She sounds so awesome. Let me read you this really short synopsis. It is a fascinating tale of a famous poet bent on deciphering a secret alien language that is the key to an enemy's deadly force, a task that requires she travel with a splendidly improbable crew to the site of the next alien attack. Sounds intense, sounds like an adventure, sounds like a linguist job. That's what I want to be, okay? I'm a linguist. In the future, I don't know, if we ever meet aliens, this is why I want to get my PhD, okay? I want to be the person that they call to decipher an alien language and, figure stuff out and talk to them. That's what I want to do. It's not a very realistic way to plan your future, but if it happens, I will be there. So now moving on from my Linguathon TBR onto the two other books that I'm planning on reading this month. The first one is Aisha at Last. This is for the Down Memory Jane read-along. It's a retelling of Pride and Prejudice about this girl named Aisha who studies poetry, I believe, and she's still living with her family, and her cousin, I believe, not her sister, is rejecting so many men's proposals, but Aisha has no proposals. And then this guy, Khalid, comes into her life, and he's annoying and conservative and looks down on her, like Mr. Darcy. I mean, come on, we all know the story. It's a Pride and Prejudice retelling. Romance is gonna happen. I am really interested in this take on it. I loved reading Pride, so I'm really interested in reading another Pride and Prejudice retelling for this readathon. I just really hope it's good. Okay, I lied. There's actually two more. But it's kind of a toss-up between these two. You know, if I have time, I'll read both, but who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen in April? So the first one is The Weight of the Stars by Kay Ankrum. This is gonna be my first Kay Ankrum book, so very excited about that. I'm reading it for Books and Lala's Buzzwordathon because the word for April is something to do with space or galaxies or something like that. So star fits very well, and it is a YA romance. However, it fits for me, and I think I will really enjoy it because first of all, it's sapphic, and second of all, it has like not a sci-fi, but definitely a sci-fi science space spin. So I like anything to do with space, so that works. It is about this girl named Ryan who has always dreamt of becoming an astronaut. However, she comes from a really underprivileged family from the wrong side of town. So she just kind of gives up and decides to just kind of hang out with her delinquent friends. However, then she meets this new girl whose name is Alexandria, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Alexandria. And Alexandria, at first, Ryan wants to be friends with her, but she was like, no. And then she's in an accident, and Ryan and her are kind of brought together through that accident. And Ryan finds out that Alexandria's mother is actually an astronaut who's on a one-way mission to the edge of the solar system. So their relationship kind of blossoms from there. I am really excited to read this. This has been on a lot of people's best of lists recently, and I need to read a Kay Ankrum book. Why haven't I read her? I don't know. I need to. So here we go. That's what I'm reading. But another book, if I have time, is Mary Roach's Packing for Mars. She's really funny. I've read at least one of her books, if not two. It's just like, it's nonfiction and it's very informative, but she's also really funny. So it makes it really accessible and easy to read and enjoyable and not like a science textbook, you know? So in this book, she talks about how and why and what we'd need to do to have a mission to Mars, a human mission to Mars. So that's very interesting to me because I love space. I'm very excited about this April buzzword. It's perfect for me. So yes, we'll see if I have time to read this book as well. I really hope I do. Alright, you guys, that is it for my April TBR. I am very excited about this reading month because, of course, my Linguathon is this month, so I'm reading basically everything that is perfect for me. And I'm reading lots of space-themed books, which is exciting, and Pride and Prejudice I love, so it's going to be a hopefully very good reading month for me in terms of quality. So yes, I am so excited, and again, please check out Linguathon if you have not already. We'd absolutely love for you to join. It will be so fun. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!